So, this next gentleman is another man I'm watching in his sleep. Because I've subscribed to his videos. Who's familiar with the redoxdoc.com? No? No one knows what that is? Oh, you just all gone to sleep. Are we still there? Alright. You know, there's lots of people that make us see what it is. You know, it's easy to think of people like Vertus, like Tyler, like Dr. Samuelson, but this next doctor is also someone that definitely helps us make us see what it is. And over 30 years practicing medicine, an acclaimed medicine physician and researcher, named University of Cincinnati Family Practice Resident of the Year, board certified in family medicine, served with distinction in top positions in health organizations and hospitals all over the Midwestern United States, an expert in redox signaling, the redox doc himself. Could you please put a very warm welcome together for Dr. Robinson Ward.
Australia is leading the world growth in ASEA. That's because you're still here. That says something about your conviction, your desire to learn and help others. This afternoon, what I'd like to do is, for a little bit, take off the Redox Doc hat for a minute and share with you, with words that you can use, how to answer questions that you're going to be asked about science. What I will tell you is, you already know the answers right now. So, there's not a lot to write down, but you go ahead and feel free to. But you already know the answers. I just need to show you how. Okay? You can do it. So, the other thing I'd like to say at the beginning is thank you very much for your support of what I'm trying to do. I learned about ASEA in 2010 and I served with the Science Advisory Board for many years, and then in 2015 was asked to just teach the science as an independent consultant. So that's what I've been doing. But I know about your business very intimately, and I know the questions that you're asked because I've been asked them for 8.5 years. And I continue to get questions asked today, either by email or in person. And I'm convinced that you already know the answers to these questions and have access to resources to direct you. So what are these questions that we mostly hear? There's about 7 that are very common, that comprise more than 90% of the questions that you'll be asked. So now you've got 9 out of 10 answers ready to go, okay? So we're going to walk through these today. So, you need to be able to discuss science with conviction. And one of the ways you can develop conviction in a sense of not caring about what you're going to say and how it's going to be received, you need to know that this technology is real and it works. So what I'd like to do is just ask real quickly for anybody in this audience who has benefited in some way in their health from Renew or ASEA, would you just stand up if you've been some benefit in some way from these products? Wow. Thank you. That's exciting. You can sit down. So, those that aren't standing will eventually be standing. And there's a reason for that. It's because the science of redox signaling is innate to our life. And when we augment and apply these molecules in various ways to our body's benefit will have results. So, if you know that it works, then don't worry about not seeing exactly the right thing about science. It's going to work out okay. So don't be a scientist, is my request. But learn how to leverage some tools. Let me show you how. Here's question number 1. What's in this stuff? So when you're asked a question, there's usually an objection or some hidden question behind the stated version, right? So what might that be? People are usually looking for some basic information so that they can explain that to someone else. Because when they go home with the stuff, they're going to say, what is that? And they don't want to feel embarrassed. They want to know what's in it and that sort of thing. Something simple. So, the answer really, basically, is to say, there's redox molecules in this. Let me send you a link in an email with some more information. Or perhaps you could even hand them a pamphlet or a brochure that you've created from your little toolbox that you have. So I will request that each of you be prepared to provide somebody a resource to answer this question. So what kind of link would you have? You could use the redox.com, and at the website, there's actually a little video. It's a few minutes long, real simple. Redox signaling molecules, what are they? Frequently, I'm asked to have a conversation with a doctor just to answer their questions. And it's good to link up professionals together, right? I always request that they look at some information before we talk, because I can't teach them over the phone what we're doing here. I can answer their questions, but they need to look at some basic information. So this is a good resource to just get that conversation going. The next question that you've been asked, probably already, is how does it work? And that hidden question or objection behind that is people are trying to sort this out. And they're trying to figure out where these little molecules fit in. They got to fit in somewhere. Is it a vitamin? Is it an antioxidant? You know, one of those juice things. It's liquid, right? No. Is it a botanical? An amino acid? Is it a probiotic? No. It's another kind of supplement that comes from an entirely different category. That's exciting. So the answer would be, it is a new kind of supplement of redox molecules that work deep in our cells to restore cellular functions to optimal levels. Okay. Well, that's a word they've never heard, perhaps. So you've got to be prepared to kind of help them out. Now you've confused them. You've raised curiosity. So send them a link. If you've got a copy of a book, you can send them to page 13. If you don't, you can get a book. Or you can choose some other links. And so a lot of times people will go to the website and choose this link and link them to a condition, perhaps a part of their body physiology that they might be interested in. Okay? So we've got several areas. All right, question number 3. Are there studies that show that it works, like clinical trials, things like that? And so the hidden objection is really, I need some validation. My friends are going to think I'm a nutcase. Can we really prove that it works? And so they also are telling you, I really can't read scientific studies, but just knowing that they're out there and around somehow makes me feel better about this. Many people will not read a scientific article that you send them or give to them, but that it's there, some kind of science, they're feeling better about it, okay? So my favorite study, which really validates the impact and effectiveness of the Renew product, is the Dermatest study. So at asiascience.com, you can actually print this off, keep it in a folder, put it in your briefcase, have it ready. This is the answer to that question right here. Or you can send them a URL link right to that page, so that you're targeting your information to them. And just don't give them 10 things, give them one thing. They want an answer to that question, you've got it. Don't overwhelm them. It's going to lead to a little bit of confusion. Clinical trials, okay? We've got access to great clinical trials. The best, in my opinion, is the gene study from 2017, the Tolerant Lab gene study. On page 15 and 16 of the book, I kind of summarize the impact that redox signaling has on the expression of our genetics and kind of walk you through it, sort of like my presentation yesterday. And so you can hand them a copy of this from your folder out of your briefcase, or you can send them a digital copy, okay? And they can look at it. And this is well done, great science, and it's jaw-dropping, frankly. In addition, the redoxdoc.com is loaded with research articles on various topics. So every video and every page is footnoted with a journal article or two, so that there's actual references that are used to create that information that I put on that slide. It's just not my opinion, okay? And that applies to the videos and other website entries on the site. Okay, is this really safe for me? You're telling me it's a whole new category of science. It's not like anything else. How do I know this isn't going to kind of react with my body in some weird way? Am I going to become dependent on it or something? And so, are you sure there's really molecules in this stuff? And it's not just salt water? So the answer to this question is just, they're trying to figure out if they should try this. Could it really hurt me? And the answer is yes, we have safety studies and all kinds of things to answer those kinds of questions. So the safety study done at the Human Performance Lab in North Carolina was over a 3-month period of time, involved over 100 subjects, and it caused no adverse health effects. And it did, of course, show a tremendous reduction in the oxidation of our DNA, which is a really good thing. So Bioanalytics is an independent lab that has proven that there is actually redox molecules in our products. There's actually superoxide in our product. And that's hard to imagine as a biochemist. That would be impossible, but it's true. So hand them that article, send them that link, one piece of information to answer that one question. Don't overload them. Don't try to answer questions that haven't been asked yet. You're going to just stymie the whole journey for them. Okay, this is the toughest one, or another tough question. Is ASEA going to help my hip? Will it help my aching elbow? Will it improve my breathing? Whatever it is. And your temptation is to say, absolutely. Of course it will. And you can reference your neighbor down the street or your own experience yourself. And it's probably best that you not, because you don't know exactly where their body's going to start the journey of healing. So what's the hidden question or objection here? Think about it. Most people think that this product is going to target something. And so most everybody kind of has a desire to think about health problems like an allopathic doctor. If you have a blood sugar problem, you need insulin. If you have high blood pressure, you need this high blood pressure pill. And that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is providing molecular resources that are going to start to work on restoring balance in their body. And how that is manifested, we just don't know yet. And so, if they try this, they're going to say, well, when will I get my results on my sore whatever? And you just don't know, because you don't know. I don't know. We don't know. So what do? The best thing to do is try to redirect them back toward health and balance. Because that's the truth. That's the truth about how this technology works. It's the truth about how good nutrition works, isn't it? It's the truth about all health endeavors. They're going to restore balance. And then as our body's in balance, things start to unravel that are problematic. And the body has a to-do list. Check 1, check 2, check 3. You're not sure where that checkoff list starts or ends. So in the book, I outline a number of health conditions. In the video conference series, there's over 70 lectures on various other topics about health challenges. But really, at this point in the journey, they're really asking you for help and understanding. So take a minute with your a sheet of paper, or perhaps with your checkoff list for taking a health inventory, and run through the list. Take a minute, get personal. People are happy to talk to you about their health issues, especially if you're demonstrating that you actually care. And so ask them about sleep. Benchmark all this stuff. How often do you get up at night? I sleep pretty good. No, wait a minute. Do you get up to go to the bathroom or what? Yeah, 2-3 times, but that's normal, isn't it? Okay, well maybe not. So you mark that down. Can you fall back to sleep right away? No. But that's normal, isn't it? No. Okay. How's your digestion? Tell me about your aches and pains. Exactly. What about mental clarity and focus? Do you fatigue later in the day? Do you need a nap? Do you reach for some caffeine and sugar? Are you struggling in those ways? What about mood? Does your mood vary quite a bit? Digestion, do you have heartburn? What about your elimination? People will tell you if you ask. And then you've got to write that down and then say, well, okay, in a week, we're going to be talking about these things again. So be prepared. I've got a list, and we're going to talk it over. People don't realize their old, familiar, healthy self, as it comes back, is just that, familiar. They don't recognize it for being something new and restored. It's just their old self. And they go, oh, you're right. I am sleeping better. I'm sleeping like I did 10 years ago. It hadn't even occurred to me. And that's just the way I used to be. So if you'll benchmark people's journey, you'll have a better chance of redirecting them toward thinking about health and balance instead of their sore whatever. Okay? Let me just take a minute and digress for a second. In 2010, when I learned about ASEA, I was excited. I didn't have a lot of science to read about, but what I did was encouraging. And so I went home and began sharing the ASEA drink, the Redox drink, with some patients. The first patient I saw the day I got back to work, I had never met before. She was a middle-aged woman who was walking with a cane, and she had a shuffle with her feet. She didn't go heel-toe. She didn't look very happy. She had poor health. And she was frustrated because she was on about half a dozen different medications and injections, and she had problems with managing her all kinds of parameters of her blood, including things that would raise her blood sugar and what have you. And so I had this intuition that this is probably not a coincidence. This woman has shown up at my clinic for a reason. And I asked her, I said, would you help me with something? Okay. I've learned about something new. I know it's safe. And I'd like to see how it helps you. You're going to need to monitor yourself carefully, but would you help me learn about this? And she said, okay. She bought some product. She went home, started using it. Within a few weeks, she was taking half of the prescriptions that she was taking, and within another 2 months, she was off all but one medication. But the thing that was weird is that she didn't really, like, jump up and down and say, look, I don't need my cane anymore, I'm walking heel-toe. I mean, my mouth was hanging open, right? But what she was excited about was her dog. And she'd been giving the ASEA liquid to her dog because she believed in it. It was my hidden message, you know. I knew she believed in it because it was working for her. But it helped her dog stop coughing and cleared up the rash. And she was thrilled. She said, "Doc, look at these pictures." I'm saying, oh boy, people are amazing. All right, so just try to redirect people toward health and away from thinking about a condition. These are many of the conditions that are outlined in the video series. And try your very best not to make medical claims, but if somebody has a specific question about a topic, this is a way to link them with a topic. Okay? Number 6, will ASEA interfere or interact with medicines or other supplements in some bad way? So the hidden concern here is I need my doctor to approve treatments. And we see this often. People are scared. They may have serious challenges. And we do not want to get between them and their doctor. That is all wrong. Wrong. So, and it's stressful to try to become somebody's doctor. You may not know what that involves. It's tricky business. And so, stay away from that. Be their health consultant. Be their friend. And as you do, you will discover it's easier. Okay? So, and a lot of people don't trust themselves. They don't feel safe taking responsibility for their own health. If you will take them by the hand and say, let's do this together. Let's see what we can do. We know this is safe. So, and that way you share the responsibility and you make a friendship and alliance that can be life-changing. So you can share the safety study with them. You can mention that there's never been a product liability claim in nearly 9 years, or in 9 years. And, but don't stand in the way between them and their doc. It's the wrong approach. Number 7, if ASEA is so great, why are there no news releases and big announcements and things like that? So what's the hidden question here, or objection? So people, especially health professionals, doctors and scientist types, have a bad habit. And we've gotten a little lazy over the years, and we rely on other doctors to do research at universities usually. The research is usually funded by some company that has a deep pocket of money, but they're going to do this study in conjunction with other universities on a particular thing. Maybe it's a statin drug. And so they'll combine their results, and it'll go to a journal where there is a review board, called a peer review board, and then that article will be published from several universities, reviewed by many doctors, and come up with the answer to, is this the next best thing? Does it really work? So along the way, the doctors who are reading the article have discovered they don't have to think. They just have to read. Let somebody else do the thinking for them. And that's well and good if you're willing to work with information that is 10 to 15 years old. Because that's how it works. It takes at least 10 years for things like that to happen. Well, redox biochemistry is relatively new on the horizon here. And it's really not that old as a science by itself. And so we're part of a pioneering science, and frankly, we've got a pioneering product. There's only one place you can find redox molecules outside of living things, and that's in Renew or in a bottle of ASEA. One place. Do you realize how weird and unique that is? It's a curse and a blessing, good and bad. So if you just simply acknowledge that to people, they go, oh, I see. So we're in a pioneering product, in a pioneering science. Well, no wonder there isn't all that other science. Thankfully, we've got studies to show safety data, etc., so we don't need to really worry. So, the other thing is, in my book and other places where the redox doc is concerned, it's all annotated and a full reference range is there for you. So all that science is available. So there's one more question that I'd like to throw out. It's actually two questions in the remaining minutes or so I'd like to share with you. That is, when people use the product, there is one of three outcomes. Either they see results in improved health, I've got more energy, I'm sleeping better, I have less aches and pains, my digestion is easier. They're going to say, it didn't work, I didn't notice anything. Or they're going to say, it made me feel worse. What do you do then, right? So, let's talk about made me feel worse. So along the way, as you've been benchmarking with people, it's very important, as I'm sure you've heard mentioned. I mentioned it yesterday, hydration is critical. Now, why is that so big deal? Our body worries when we're a little dry. Remember, we're living in this dry environment. Discount the humidity, please. And our bodies are 70% water. And if we're running dry, your body starts to worry. And it starts to shift into a survival mode. It drifts away from prosperity. It drifts away from being interested in healing. And all it cares about is survival. And so it starts to conserve its energy, conserve moisture. Toxins aren't released because the kidneys are clamping down. And you're not going to experience much healing because you're dry. And people are chronically dry because they're drinking a lot of caffeine, or they just don't drink much water at all. So make sure people are well hydrated. And that will probably solve the question of, it made me feel worse, because they're doing some detoxifying or just sitting here. And then lastly, I didn't feel anything. So the reason they didn't feel anything is because you probably weren't benchmarking them well. Take the time to do that. It also helps you get to know that person. You're telling them you actually care about how their bowels work or something, right? You care. So when it doesn't work and you've been benchmarking and all that, one thing you can feel confident in doing, I've done this many times, is tell the person to stop. Stop using the gel. Stop drinking ASEA. Just stop. Do you have some product left over? Yeah, I've got about half a bottle left. Okay, great. No more. You're off. Done. Now, I'm going to call you every day, and I'm going to listen to how you're doing and how you're feeling, because 3 days from now, it's going to be different. And that's about when you start to see the surfacing of issues, okay? And as they start to feel worse, you'll discover that they've already taken a little sip before you called on the third day. Because they know the truth. And frequently people are kind of like, I don't know, if I say yes, it's helping, then they're going to ask me to buy all this stuff, and I don't know if I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, help them out. Just give them a call, check in with them, and then you'll hear it that, yeah, I'm not as good as I was. Okay? All right, folks, it's been great to be with you. I hope you get a feeling that you've got resources, you've got answers to questions, which is simply pivot to a tool, pivot to a resource, and put it to work for you. Have them available, have them categorized, have them ready to go on your desktop or in a briefcase, and you'll convey a message of confidence, and it'll all work out really well. Congratulations, Australia, for your success, and I look forward to being back here soon. Thank you.
The Redox Doc. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.